Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Hey, Idris, how's it going?
Hi Wilson, how are you? I feel like I
Good.
just saw you. I just saw you at the premiere.
Yes, I did. Yes, you did. Yes, it did. It was good. A good night. It was definitely a good night. This is your sixth film with Will Packer. You guys have worked together for over 15 years. What made this the right project for you to say yes?
I think this project just offered us something different, something we haven't done before. We've made thrillers, but this one, has a survival element to it. We took the film to international waters, so we saw something outside of, America or England or whatever. It's definitely into Africa, and that was really a key component. And again, this is a film that has many ingredients, and Will and I had to dig deep to figure out how to make this relatable to all audiences, but have that real cultural slant that, expected from a Will Packer, Idris Elba collaborator, and then that sort of like, whoa, we've never seen this before.
Every time you do a role, it's something totally different, but there's something in there that you can relate to. How do you relate to Dr. Nate?
I'm a father. And look, Nate is sort of like going through trauma. Even though he's a doctor, he hasn't figured out how to go through his own or help heal himself. And there's pressure on him from his daughters to sort of be the parent now that they've lost their mum. I have children. My children and I have gone through stuff, and so one tries to apply their own experiences into characters. I can relate to that. Nate is no action hero. He's not an action hero. He's not a fighter. He's not someone that can just put up his fists and let's go. He's just a dad and a doctor and a morning one.
So we know at some point, it's going to be you versus the line. So did you work your stunt coordinator as far as how is he going to work this angle so he can still stay alive?
Look, the truth is, by the time he goes into that particular fight with the lion, I think it's more of a suicide mission. It's like I'm sacrificing myself for my children. But the fight is definitely choreographed that it's more of a man trying to defend himself, trying to, distract the lion from the kids.
hmm And you mentioned you got two girls, you have two kids as well. You have this, you have the two girls playing your daughters here. How is that correlation, that chemistry like in working with Iyana and Leah?
It was great, man. I couldn't have asked for a much, nicer set of people to work with. We were really honest with each other from the beginning, just open to each other. Leah and Iyana both sort of embraced me and just like, you're our dad right now, you know what I mean? And as our relationship grew, as this, we were shooting for 10 weeks and we were in the middle of, nowhere a lot of the time. So I did become family and they did become my family. But it was really good and really important for the film to have that dynamic feel real throughout the story. And I really enjoyed them, really did.
I've seen Baltasar's work before. What did you get out of his direction that within your career you can add to your skill set as an actor that you can take on hopefully to your next project?
Well, Baltazar is an actor that turned into a director. That's a course that I'd like to do also. And so I got really great insight, from him as it pertains to that. As an actor turned director, you have a better understanding of what it is to be in front of the camera and what you're asking your actors to do. And that actually is something to be massaged and encouraged. So for me, I think taking into my own career as a director actor, I just be aware that, actors will expect a little bit more from you because they know you did this.
A few months ago, I spoke to some of the members from The Wire as it was celebrating its 20th anniversary, and that's the show that a lot of people first recognized you before you started working with Will. Going back, and obviously you had done projects before The Wire, but what can you say that you learned from The Wire as you left that show and you embarked on this film career where you still keep going?
I think, like The Wire is a show, and when you work on any show, there's a real sort of pulse, the continuity. connection to your character that, has to live and outlive the storyline. I left Stringer Bell, but will always be Stringer Bell to many people. Like, they might see me in a film and be like, nah, Stringer Bell wouldn't have done that. That's what I'm always connected to. And, for me, having the success of something like a HBO show, to then go off and start working with Will Packer and all of that, I just wanted to try and keep up. The Wire offered me a massive springboard into the next stage of my career.
You get to shoot all over the world, and going back to Beast, how was it shooting in Africa?
Africa's always a pleasure. The crews are, equally sophisticated and skilled as anywhere else in the world. I love it there, man. I definitely feel like an honorary South African, having made a couple of movies, but including, Nelson Mandela. I definitely feel like it's home when I go back there.
You've got a movie coming up with George Miller, that's coming up soon. Obviously, you got Beast right now. You never know when your film's going to come out. That's not your decision. But, this was coming up before that one. What goes into saying yes to the project you take?
At the moment, it's who am I making the film with a lot of the times, George Miller is an absolute G, sort of majestic director's director. And as I told you, I'd like to move into that direction, no pun, but, getting a masterclass from George Miller is like, tick. Right now, Will Packer and I are on this film, and I've spent a good part of a year working with him on delivering this film. That's a lot of time to give to energy, to one person, to anybody. So for me, a lot of it is who's making this story? And can we live in harmony for the amount of time it's going to take to make this film? But also, I like to never repeat the roles I've done before. I've played drug dealers and I've played doctors, but I've got to try and find ways to stay unique. Not unique, but try and diversify my characters. That's really important to me.
Don't say that. I was just talking to Will about people still want to see you come back to do a Takers, whether it be a sequel or a prequel. Is that something that if the rights came aboard, you'd entertain?
Takers has so much potential, always has, you know what I mean? And my storyline, everyone knows that storyline could have lived. If it was the right script, then why not? But at this junction, I don't think that's going to happen. We've got so much going on anyway. But yeah, I know people love Takers.
When you're on these sets with Will and with other directors, and you said eventually you're going to move on to that, do you think you're ready now to direct? Or do you want to start off slowly by producing? I'm sure you've produced other projects, but do you want to take the baby steps, or do you want to jump in right away at some point?
3 years ago, maybe a bit longer, I directed my first film, a small independent film. So I had made that leap, and prior to that, done little music videos. I've made the leap, but I definitely feel now is a junction for me that I could embrace being behind the camera, and maybe as well as being in front of the camera. I've never directed myself yet, but I think I could do that.
Mm-hmm. Hijack is coming up. Have you started shooting that already?
Oh yeah, I'm shooting as we speak. Not right now because I'm here with you, but I am shooting right now.
What genre do you feel most comfortable in? Comedy, drama, musicals,
It's all much of a muchness, like if I'm honest, it's about what kind of character I'm most comfortable in. So is it a bad character or a good guy? Those I can answer, but in terms of genre, I actually don't mind where and what genre it is. In fact, if I haven't done that genre, then I'm more inclined to get involved with that.
When you've been to Africa, and as many times as you've done because you've done work there, have you picked up a little bit of the language?
Oh yeah, in West Africa, where my parents are from, we speak Creole. So I would say, howdy buddy, that means, how are you? And then in South Africa, you pick up little small words here and there. But that's just part of the course,
Idris, it's always been a pleasure talking to you. This is a great film. It was a good ride. I kept jumping in my chair. People are like, it's a movie, right? But it's the thrill of it. It's the thrill of it.
You were saying something at the party and I couldn't quite hear you. You said, I didn't expect you to do that. I think you need to go do that. I was like, wait, what?
just kind of congratulate you on a good role because you did its job. You got me jumping, and I'm sure the audience will when they watch this in the theaters.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Take care.